That's basically the story. Now let's do the detective work. Okay, that's all. Now, this is the part where, like in Pigeon, they say, "Make I boss your head." So this is the part where I give you the tea, and a lot of people are not ready to sip out of this tea. God in that story, the devil in that story. Now, why do I say this? Yeah. Hi. Welcome back. If you're joining from the first video in the grey area, welcome back. If the algorithm pushes this video to you, qué bueno, because it's working. As you can already tell from the thumbnail, this is the blue zone. It's the zone for everything spirituality. Now, before I even go to describe what that is to me, I actually already recorded a video where I kind of showed what the zone's about. But there was something I was going to show you lot, and basically, I did more of telling my point of view than showing why it is my point of view. It's not really my point of view, but I feel like it's an internal revelation from, sitting with certain thoughts a bit longer than what would be considered fleeting. Okay. So basically to me, spirituality simply means anything that disconnects me from that which is not me and helps to take me back to me. I'm just trying to give you a lot, I was going to make this video about the reason that I wanted to start this channel and, run the whole four niche thing. But I guess it would be better to just give you kind of like a sneak peek on what's going to be happening here. So you can really judge what it's about. And obviously it's going to be diverse, but I just want you to have an idea really. So basically, um, yeah, we're going to be talking about a story, and I'm going to try to reflect each account by each and every one of the three monotheological religions, at least the ones that I'm familiar with, and I think most people would be. Uh, a very unique story that I feel like everyone should be familiar with because obviously we live in a world in it. So, anyways, it's the story about the fall of Satan, and well, we're just going to be looking at that story a bit more in depth than a lot of people would. Anyways, so let's just talk about what the story is and what it entails in each one. So in Christianity, it's basically there's the angel of light. I mean, to be very honest with you, in the story was initially given to a king of Babylon. Yeah, but with time, the scholars and everyone, they just kind of changed the story to mean the fall of Satan, but it was actually original. The original thing was actually for a king of Babylon, and I'm guessing it would be Nebuchadnezzar, I think. But yeah, basically it was about a king, no, a light being that allowed himself to be consumed by pride, because of the exuberance and all things uh, that were part of who he was, and he just kind of let them get into his head, and basically he rebelled against God, and he found out there was a war, between Gabriel and his adversaries, and he lost, and he was cast down, and he transformed into Satan, and he became the accuser, and etc. You get the hang of it. Now, according to Islam, he's basically a being, light being made of smokeless fire, who he was a jinn actually, who was so godlike that he actually sat among the gods. Or when I say gods here, obviously there's the one and there's the immaculate beings. He sat amongst them, and obviously with time, God created man. He asked all the angels to bow down and worship him. When I say immaculate beings, I mean angels. And he said, "No, how can I? He's made out of clay, and I'm made out of smokeless fire. How can I worship this?" And yeah, is like, "Oh, you have defied me, so from now on you will be cast down." And he's like, "I'm going to prove to you that this being that you've just created is not worth it, and they're gonna stray from you at the end of the day." And basically, he became the accuser, basically. And funny enough, he's the legal accuser. And well, that's his job. And after he's been proved right or wrong, he will be condemned. So it's an interesting thing because it's like, what if he's right at the end of the day? And he actually proves that, they are not worthy of his love, God's love, obviously. Uh, what happens? He still gets condemned. And if he's right, he still gets condemned. If he's wrong, he still gets condemned. And this is not a conspiracy theory channel, so I'm not even trying to lean into that. It's not important to me. But yeah, that's basically the story. And I think the Judaist story kind of leans towards the Christian one as well. Although in all of these accounts, when I really looked at it, because I wanted to speak about it, but I said I need to be a bit more educated, and than the average person, so I don't end up, saying what I'm not really sure of, even if I might probably say that still. Anyways, so basically, but yes, I'm going to obviously try to stick to facts, obviously, because what is the use if I'm not, you know? Anyways, so that's basically the story. Now let's do the detective work. Okay, that's the part where, this comes in. Basically, so you know the story now. Now let's take out the characters. Yeah. Um, there is the God figure, and we're going to give him characteristics so we can understand. Like I said, I already made a video about this, but I tried to say, and I didn't try to make you see. So I'm trying to be more elaborate and pragmatic, as pragmatic as I possibly can. Anyways, so yeah, we've got the God figure and we've got the devil figure here. And the first is basically all powerful, good, omnipotent, yeah, omniscient, yes, omniscient, and omnipresent. Obviously has all the wisdom, knows the end from the beginning, has the ability. Nothing really can happen without him first allowing it to. That's some of the characteristics that a lot of people obviously are familiar with. And the other person is the other guy, who's obviously Satan, who's made of smokeless fire, all bad, the accuser, causing all the trouble, all the evil and everything. And that's his role. And there's these two people. Now, this is the part where, like in Pigeon, they say, make up boss your head. So this is the part where I give you the tea, and a lot of people are not ready to sip out this tea. So, but this is the truth, or at least this is what I see as the truth. This is the part where a lot of people are not ready. This is the part a lot of people are not ready to see. And even if they saw it, they can't unsee it. So they're going to try to cover it up with as many things as they can. Yeah, here it goes. God in that story is you, is us. The devil in that story is you, is us. Now, why do I say this? Yeah. Now let's unpack. Let's do some detective work. Now I already talked about the characteristics. Yeah. Now, have you heard a lot of religious people say, I really wish, they think it's a movie. I'm sorry to break it to you, love, but it's not a movie. Yeah. But you see how they come and be like, I really wish man didn't eat that apple actually. And if Satan actually just said, I'm so sorry, could you take me back? Maybe you take him back and we could all go back to Eden and enjoy life and the likes. That's weird. And there's another set of people. No, it's not weird actually. I take that back. It's logical. It's logical. And there's another set of people who are like, yeah, I don't believe in it, or I don't believe in God because if he was truly all good, he would not let all the bad happen or the deaths happen, etc. You already know how that goes. Now, this is why I know that it is us. Yes, in 14 years' time, I might have a different opinion. But yes, that is the idea of change. And if there's anyone who would call you out on what you first thought because you had outgrown that thought, or the thought has evolved into something larger, do not associate yourself with that person. I'm just being honest with you, because some people will judge you for growing. How does that make sense? Now, firstly, I want us to monitor the human experience. Yeah. In the human experience, we have displayed a couple characteristics over time. And some of these have been eternally scarring. That is to say that we are still seeing some of the effects to today. You know what I mean? The first one is characteristics for good. We have grown, we have rebuilt, we have planted, we have supported, we have created life, quite literally, from the substance of our beings. We have supported, we have created, we have loved, we have given, we have A, B, C, D, E. You know what I mean? I just want you to understand, in every sense of the word, the trees that you see here, no, let's not even go there. Anyways, we've done all of these good things, really good things to the earth and to one another. We've done that from the beginning of time, and some of them are so potent that they are the literal reason the earth has not swallowed us up yet. And now that's the one side of the story, yeah? Now let's look at the other side. What's the time? Okay, no. Okay. So basically, we've also done some really horrible things, yeah? Atrocities. We have unalived. We have reaped from source. We have caused war, violence, taken life, bred monsters, and a couple of other things. We've done really, really horrible, atrocious things on this planet as well. Now that's the two parts of the story. And what else have we done? We have condemned the bad and still do nothing when we watched it brew, when we watched it get honed, when we watched it play out. We did nothing, even if we have or had the power to stop or do something about it. I don't know if you're coming close to where I am now, okay? We have created, think about it, now we've created stuff, and by creation I don't mean just physical, even if that is included, but creation doesn't necessarily have to do with everything you do with your hands. Words, actions, actions and inactions are the part of creation. So we have created stuff that we are 100%, what's the word I'm looking for? Gosh, when I start, you cannot understand what it means to speak 5 languages. Sometimes you actually forget words in one, and then you forget it in all. I can't explain it. I mean, you can understand. I'm sure there are some polyglots, and there will be polyglots watching this. Anyways, so yeah, if you can relate, please comment. Anyways, we have seen a lot of evil happen, or literally being born. We've seen it being born, and we know this has potential to be really, really bad for us. This has potential to really cause problems. But meh. We have done that, and we've been doing that, and we'll be doing that. We'll keep doing that. Now, this is the reason why I said that story is not the story of a thing that happened in the sky. It's a thing of something that happened here and will continue to happen here. Now, the thing is, there are some of you who are already in tune with the frequency that I'm trying to shoot out here, and there are others that are not. And it's all right. You're going to catch up. You get me? Anyways, just sit with me, yeah? I'm trying to be pragmatic. I'm trying to be very, very... I'm just trying to put into logic, even if everything cannot be put into logic, but I'm trying to do that here. So stay with me, okay? I don't want it to be too long. I'm giving it 25 minutes tops. Okay. So basically, wait, is pragmatic a word actually? Oh God. Anyways, so this is what we do here. We see things that have great potential to be problems, big problems, and we just let that happen. And the reason, let me give you an example of what happened in the past. Although, like I said, for those of you that have already touched this, you already know that to a certain extent, past, present, and future, when you close your eyes, are all happening in the same moment in time. I don't know how somehow your government came to you and said, hey, we've got the scientist. When I switch from Nigerian English to sometimes I forget the real pronunciation of words. We've got the scientist. Yeah, if you want to know what that's about, or you want me to talk about that actually, say in the comments. I would leave that in the language area. What color is it? Shaisa. And that will be in the purple area. So if you want me to talk about pronunciation and how, blah, blah, you can tell me. I'll make a video about it. So basically, so think about it. Somebody came, like a government came to its people and said, hey, we've got this scientist who's working on this, and it's called nuclear physics. I thought, sounds like a decent name actually, bro. Tell me more about it. And it's like, so he's creating stuff that is so volatile that it is capable of causing an explosion. Ooh, what's an explosion actually? We're gonna give you a bit of a preview, and probably they take something outside and it explodes, boom, and they're like, oh my gosh, that is Zeus. So they just call it a god or something. And there's like 70% or at least 50% of the population that is like, yo, but how is that even helpful actually? Why are we doing this? And he's like, yeah, and with this machine we could potentially be more powerful than the nations that surround us, and we could take their livestock and make them ours, take their women and make them ours, take their land and make it ours, and we could potentially just grow and become the most powerful nation on earth, or the planet Earth. And the citizens are like, yeah, we're kind of all right the way we are. Maybe we should just invent stuff to just, improve the quality of life as compared to, covet that of another. And there's the other 50% that are so lost that they don't even see it. But there's that 50%, they're like, yo, this seems like in the long run it could be really bad for humanity, but man, you know what I mean? You see what happened? And they literally just glanced it over. And fast forward to today, somehow it's even reached the point where countries brag about the nuclear weapons that they have, and people, young boys, are watching people talking about, if this country does this, we're going to release this and we're going to flatten the whole earth. And it's like, oh, so cool, bro. Come on, literally, come on. It's not something like, I can't imagine the trillions of dollars that go into that every year. No, trillions, no, that's that's a bit too much. But the billions that go into that every year, when the earth is literally, but you can see what I mean here. It's been our story from the beginning of time to create something that is capable of mass destruction. Create, like I said, it could be inaction, action, word, thought, deed, etc. Create something and then act as though, oh, what's happening? And now we're at war with our own creation. Do you know what I mean? Now, what does that sound to you like? That's the creation story. It's like, you know the beginning from the end, and truly we do. Because in every moment that we're doing something, if you're actually conscious about it, we can know the energy that is carried. That's when you know that if you're really pissed off, you should probably calm down, mate, because you have the potential to do something catastrophic. Okay. Catastrophic. So I guess it should be TRO. That's where the stress should be. I guess. I forgot. Anyways, you've got the ability to do something catastrophic in your anger. Yeah? You have the ability to do that. So what you advise to do, calmate, to relax. Because if you're moving with that energy, you could probably do something you're going to regret. That's the idea of, you already know how this is going to end, as it's going to start from the beginning, you know what I mean? So we've always had that ability, and we always saw the end from the beginning, even if that ability has been watered down across generations, and it's almost like the sixth sense is very, very, very weak at the moment. But if you have any sense of, you don't even have to be religious, spiritual, blah, 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 common sense to think about it. The earliest men hadn't any distractions, so they were more focused and grounded in what was around them in order to get the vibrations that they carried and be potentially more, capable of discerning better. And a lot of people will come with their science knowledge. Oh my God. I'll be interested to see what you have to say about that, actually. Anyways, now, I don't know if you're starting to see the picture that I'm trying to paint for you. So in the story, yeah, a lot of people are saying, I made this because why would he even create the devil if he knew he had so much potential to do this to us? Why is this this? Why is this this? Why is this this? Why is this that? You don't realize that it's your own story. It's your own fuck up. You get me? So this is where I'm going to bust your head, bust your head. That's pigeon. Anyways, it's like the person who was kicked down from heaven is you, is us. The one who cast him down, the one who was doing the kicking down, is you, is us. It's the same person, it's the same entity. It's just that because of the fact that in order for us to fully understand, and I don't know if you understand this, the people who wrote these books didn't see it happen. They're telling a story of something that happened years, generations before they ever came here. So when you conjure information from the past, usually it comes in the form of a revelation. And if you know anything about revelations, it's that they are never exact. They can hold the truth, but you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain this to you. They are never really exact. They come, examples, trances, dreams, etc. If you know anything about these things, some of them are very clear, some of them are not really clear, and all of them still need interpretation. Whether none of them actually happen word for word. There's always something that is different, always. But anyways, yes, when I say always, I know why I said always. There's the nuances that sometimes could seem like they are not important, but they are. Anyways, well, I guess we might just make our first 30-minute video. So basically, when you think about that story a bit more, it's like, why did he had the capacity to do this, but he didn't. He did this, but he didn't. Just look at the complaint here. So I'm saying, you're the one who did the casting down. You're the one who was casted down. Because it's like, in order for us to truly understand both, we have to create them as though they were separate. The place we once were, heaven, and the place that we descended to, earth. Although another dichotomy, look at both your head, they are the same place. Because I've just told you, people that's doing this are the same person. The places that they were casted down from, they're the same place. You know, I mean, it will go right over a lot of heads. But I just hope there's at least a few percentage, at least a couple people who would stick and understand what I'm saying here. Anyways, so what happened there is like a fall in terms of consciousness, a fall in terms of, yes, consciousness, vibration. You allowed the things that existed for you to know yourself better to take over you, and created emotions that were not for you but against you, that caused you to leave that place of consciousness and cast yourself down. And then every day you wake up with what? Demons. Listen to the songs and they say everyone has to fight their demons. What are those demons? They are the ones that are accusing you, the accuser. They are the ones that are trying to take you anything but to yourself. And it seems like they're so hell-bent on doing that. And within you, they exist within you. And again, same within you, there is the capacity to rise. There is a capacity to leave behind. There's a capacity to cry, wipe your tears and grow, heal. There's a capacity to show, to create, to do. You know what I mean? All of these capacities are entities. I don't know if you know about this. There's a movie about two people who fell in love and they couldn't, it was an old story about two people who fell in love. And yes, it's actually a movie by Jennifer Lopez, actually. It's called This Is Me Now, I think. So basically there's a part where they just talk about an ancient story about two people who were in love. One became a bird and he would always sing and she would always, I can't really remember how it goes actually, but I just caught it from the movie. Now what I'm trying to say actually is, long story short, that's your story. It's always been your story. Before you first take responsibility that's we as human beings are supposed to take, so we can actually return this place to what it's supposed to be, we carry it and we take it and give it to an entity just so we can absolve ourselves of things that we did. That's why they said, for man has sinned and fallen short of glory. Of his glory. Because literally, like I said, it is you. So you're falling short of your own glory because of the things that you've done. And quite literally, it is men, sadly, who've done it. And the receivers, or the ones who are on the receiving end of the fuck-ups that men do or carry out, is women and children. But because of how inflated the ego of men is, the ego of men is, the ego of men takes it as a pronoun. So it sounds weird, but I think it still should be yes. So because of how inflated the ego is, the ego of men is, yes, that's correct. The ego of men is, this is what we do. In order for us not to go down in history as the villains, what do? We write our own account of what happened. Even if the ones who should be writing the account of what happened should be the ones who are, the direct, the receiving end of our fuck-ups, which is women and children. Because when men fight, when men fuck up, women and children suffer. So when we write our own account of what happened, do you know what we call it? We call it his story. The men's story, the man's story, his story. It's his story. And there's no space for her story. And her story is so deep, so buried, so lost in time that it will take another being or a couple beings to close their eyes and conjure that information once more to understand what really happened. And we've got history today full of men's story. They say when two people go to war, the victor writes the story, and the one who loses, is forced to have generations read about the victor. Anyways, yes, we've got history. So if you're a feminine entity and you're watching this video, tell her story. Begin to tell her story. So at least you can balance the scales, and probably, hopefully, with the more feminine entities telling their story, we can even overturn history and get the truth. And you would do this with every no you say to that which you do not, which you are greater than, with every word you speak, every action you take, whatever. I'm not trying to give you advice, that's not the idea. Although it's just going to naturally slip out when I'm talking about things like this. And I am in no way perfect, that's the thing. But when it comes out, you get me? So, yeah, tell your story, love. And if you're a masculine entity watching this, Tell your own story too. But the truth is, when you tell the right story, you're not even telling history anymore. You're telling her story. Because at this point, you're already also being part of the women and children who are receiving what's already created by his actions, his story. And when you try to live true, tell your story, you've already automatically joined the feminine side of it. I don't know if you've been programmed to seem that's weird. Man, you've got a lot of fixing to do. If that you think that's weird, but it's true. Yeah, we've got to contribute to the her side so they can overturn the his side so we can all finally go back to Eden. But you know what I mean? Anyways, I try to paint a picture. I wouldn't say as clear as I possibly can, because if I pondered it a bit more, maybe it will be clearer. But I just want to do a bit of a recap here. Yeah? In that story, it is us. It is our story. The thing is, most of the things you see in these books is telling us stories. They're all revelations. Why do you think they're written by the people who did not see them happen? What does that even tell you? anyways, because if it was written, okay, it's already getting too long, but I kind of broken down what I mean when I say it's not the story of an entity. Listen, I know there's a lot of questions that will come out of this, and maybe I will try to answer some of them. Maybe I know the answers to a lot of them based on the mental state of mind at the moment. Maybe I would not answer some of them because I believe I don't want anyone to, they start depending on you. Tell us this, tell us that. No, that's not the idea. I believe the same energy that caused me to see this can cause you to see much more. That is why it is said, this and more you will do. Because the same energy runs in all of us. That's what I'm saying. You do. There's so much to be uncovered, guys. Littéralement, il y avait plein de choses que je peux pas parler français, mais it's a lot, But this is what the spirituality part of this channel is going to be about. We're going to talk about stuff like this. There's going to be a lot of debunking. We're going to be playing detectives, and I'm going to be showing you the reasons so you can see what I mean. And if you really, really go on with this thought on your own, you'll be shocked at where the tunnel leads. Trust me. So you can ponder this. Tell me what you think. This is the spirituality zone. If you found value, then, and you're really curious to see what other thing we'll be investigating, talking about, sharing, then welcome. You are officially a blue. This is the blue zone. So if you're counting for that, if you wanna see more about it, see more on it, subscribe, like the video, share it with that friend of yours. If it blew your mind in any way, shape or form, share it with people. This is the one that I believe you can share to anyone, just for the curiosity that exists in the video and things that have been spoken about. Obviously, it's going to go more and more profound. Sometimes it will go right over your head, no problem. Because trust me, when you take a mic and spoke your own truth, which is part of the reasons I want to start this channel, because the more you produce, the less you consume. And yeah, I want to stop scrolling too much. So I believe when I'm caught up editing, trust me, I'm not going to have the time to even do this. And if all of us start doing this, the community, we're all going to be producers. Puta madre. Joder, se me olvidó apagar el teléfono. Anyways, yes, so this is what the blue zone is about. Like, subscribe if you find value, and maybe check out the language bit. Yeah, I've already done that video. So anyways, check it out. Language bit here, culture bit here, and art bit coming up sometime. Anyways, see you in the next video.